Welcome back to part two of Marketing in Your School Library. When we left off, we'd been discussing strategies for bringing information and messaging about your program to your audience. Now that we have some strategies, let's talk about how we can develop a marketing plan. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this section, but even if you don't physically write out a plan, these steps can help you focus your efforts more strategically. Step one for creating your plan is to identify your goal. Using your why, set an objective of what you are hoping to accomplish with your target audience. Are you trying to increase the number of students checking out books, get students signed up for a new book club, or increase the number of teachers using digital resources in their classroom? Set your goal so you know exactly what you're working towards. Step two, figure out the strategies that you think will work best for you and your audience. Don't be afraid to try something new or use a more than one strategy just to see what sticks. Step three, create an action plan. This is going to be the meat of your plan. What action steps do you need to take and when do you need to complete each step? Keep in mind that your plan will look different depending on what you're marketing. For one-time marketing, like promoting an event or a program or contest, work backwards to create your timeline. Think about giving a sneak peek early on, then sharing information about the program, and then giving a final push for engagement right before the event starts. If you're promoting ongoing marketing, for example, you're marketing the library program in general or want to share information about resources that are always available, create a monthly or quarterly timeline that keeps your program in the minds of your audience. This can mean asking for a monthly column in the principal newsletter, posting messages on the morning announcements, or having regular social media tweets. Keep the content fresh to avoid becoming wallpaper. Think about capitalizing on campaigns that are already occurring in the country or across the county. This includes things like Teacher Appreciation Week, Read Across America, Banned Book Week, and School Library Appreciation Month. Lots of these campaigns have posters, hashtags, and even suggested schedules of programming that you can bring to your school. And coordinating your marketing to align these bigger movements will help promote your initiative at a time when lots of people are already talking about the library. Our office has developed a celebration toolkit that lists all of the special education-related dates that happen throughout the school year, with links to promotional materials and ideas. This site is at www.aacps.org/celebrate. The last step of your marketing plan should be to evaluate your success. Think about how you will determine whether or not your marketing plan has made an impact. Consider thinking about likes and retweets on social media, the number of attendees at an event, change in book circulation statistics, or short surveys or evaluations from the people who participated. Building in these metrics will help you reflect on what worked and what didn't, so your marketing can be even more effective next time. Now that you've started thinking about what your message is and how you will get your message to your audience, I wanted to share a few notes about visual design that can help you make sure people are stopping to look at your content. First, less is more. When you're writing about your program, whether you're putting together a tweet or a newsletter, ask yourself what is going to be most important to my audience, and then keep the information as simple as possible. This is true for design too. When you're adding photos, colors, and fonts, a little bit of a restraint can really go a long way. Which leads me to my next tip. Don't be afraid of white space. White space is the unused or blank area of a flyer, website, or presentation, anything without content. Let's look at a quick example. Our default tendency is usually to fill the space that we have, which is what happened with the image on the right. But when we leave room around the content, the information is more visually appealing and, more importantly, easier to read. I also recommend developing a visual identity. If you have multiple materials for the same initiative, pick one or two colors and fonts and then use them consistently across all of your materials. This gives you a look that others can easily recognize and associate with the initiative. Here are some graphics I created for the Thank a Teacher campaign that my office leads during Teacher Appreciation Week. Even though each image is slightly different, they all use similar colors, fonts, and images, so you can see at a glance that all of these materials are related. I think one of the most important tips is to avoid jargon. In education, we use educational jargon and acronyms all of the time. We know our programs, and to us, the language really is second nature. Sometimes we use this lingo to validate the work that we're doing. And when you're talking to your principal about the impact of your Media Center school improvement plan, yes, you probably want to use that language. But for pretty much anyone else, try to avoid it as much as possible. A good rule of thumb for writing is that the public material should be written at an 8th grade reading level. Also be careful about overusing educational buzzwords like critical thinking, rigor and readiness, and 21st century skills. Even though these ideas are important, we hear them so often that people have a tendency to tune them out. Sometimes when working on a new project, I'll even make a list of words that I'm not allowed to use. It's challenging, but it definitely keeps your material fresh. I know we went over a lot of information today, so let's take a minute to recap. We started by talking about the importance of taking the time to find your why and then letting that drive everything that you do. Then figure out who you're trying to reach and what will motivate that group to get involved. Think about what strategies you will use to reach your audience and create an action plan to implement and evaluate those strategies. And most importantly, remember that you're marketing your library program, so make it your own. Before we finish today, I wanted to leave you with a few additional resources that you can use as you get started to market your school library. I've included a reference handout with this presentation that gives a really quick overview of the key ideas that we discussed today. On the back of the sheet, you'll find free resources that you can use when marketing your school library program. This includes information from the American Association of School Librarians, which has great flyers and brochures for promoting advocacy and the AASL standards, the Celebration Toolkit and Faces of AACPS resources in Anne Arundel County Public Schools that I mentioned, and a link to Canva, which is a free online design tool that is a wonderful resource for creating social media posts, flyers, and other marketing materials. The presentation that you watched today was designed in Canva as well as this worksheet. And then finally, I just have the contact information as a quick reference for myself and my colleague in the Department of Partnerships, Development, and Marketing. And with that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you again for letting me share some information with you today. I really hope that you're able to take some of the ideas that you can use when promoting your current or future school library. Here's my contact information, so please feel free to reach out to me with questions about the presentation or even just to chat about an idea for promoting something at your school. It's my job and I'm really happy to help. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.